important thing in this mode is boosts, which is relevant to two-team attacks because a lot of people from many teams just send in one person to clear a boost. But before we get into that, what are boosts?
So boosts are essentially, I guess, a currency that you'll see in your Blitz store. So, uh, which is,
Just hit over there.
I think that I'll recommend. There we go. Yeah. So basically, I recommend everyone on every door reset to go into their Blitz store, and you can purchase defense boosts and you can purchase your war energy refills. Uh, Now, there's obviously going to be a juggle between the war resources and obviously any characters you're farming with in the Blitz store. But if you guys are serious with war, then those two resources are pretty much mandatory on every store reset. Now, what defense boost does is you can apply those on your defensive teams, on anyone's teams in your alliance, and that applies three counts of deflex to that particular team, and essentially they load up into a battle with three deflects, and that can be pretty. That can swing a battle. If it's at that kind of point where it's 50-50, this deflect can, give that um, in the defensive team's favor, pretty much. Uh,
Yeah. If you are not
because
aware,
some of those early
sorry.
attacks can be negated with those deflects.
Right. If you're not aware, a
Oh
deflect
no,
is
I
a
was just saying
guaranteed block.
basically what deflect does, pretty much, yes. So certain teams that have initial early damage and stuff like that, with characters that have deflects on them, that's essentially negating those early damage points, and the attack team has to wait additional turns to then do the damage that they need to if they can't, if they don't have anything to remove those deflects, for instance.
Right. 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 And these cost. I mean, you could just see. Was it 200 blitz credits per purchase? Was it?
Yeah, 200 for the defense boost from memory.
And you get 75 of them if my memory is correct. Or what do you get? Is it 75? I don't even remember.
I think it's 75 and do up to 4 boosts per war.
Yeah.
So you've only got a limited amount of boosts that you can do within a war, so you can't endlessly boost defense or your defenses. You got 4, and you got to choose them wisely, essentially.
Right. So you got to use them wisely. What do you think is the best way of using boosts? Like, do you always boost certain teams, or do you boost at certain times? What do you think is the most efficient way to use these boosts?
So it varies. So some of us at the start of the war, as soon as it starts, we'll go in and we'll go to our, I guess our what we call our critical rooms, our global rooms, such as barracks, armory, and stuff like that. And people would apply boosts to big teams on that in those particular rooms. The other way to use boosts that we do is we monitor path that the enemy alliance is taking, and then we'll boost according to, I guess, the teams that they're attacking, or the members that they're attacking, and we'll boost teams that they're coming up against before they attack them, essentially. And that way you're using your boosts in a manner that you need that early victory when it comes to war, because we can talk about the rooms later, but uh, if you can slow down your enemy out of the war, then it favors you, uh, you know, throughout the war. So uh, basically, we looked at where they're going, where they're attacking, and if there's a team, if they're attacking a particular person, then we'll boost their important teams before they get to them, essentially.
So it's kind of a bit of a blend. Like you obviously want to protect your most important rooms, but you also want to realize what the other alliance is doing. Like if, for instance, if you have your barracks bottom right, you don't need to load that up on all of the boosts if they're going on the left side right away, for instance.
Right.
Right. So now these boosts, again, they're 3
Like I
deflects.
say, it's got to be.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. Like you say, it is a blend with everything essentially. But yeah, you want to protect your important rooms, but you've also got to look at where they're going and try to slow them down as much as possible.
Right. So again, just so you guys remember, it is 3 stacks of deflect. A deflect is a guaranteed block, but the most annoying part about it, because the blocks make everything more difficult, they reduce damage, they make it harder to land debuffs, makes it harder to clear buffs, but these are positive effects. So something to keep in mind. If you have a character that removes 2 positive effects and you're trying to get rid of a taunt, there's a chance they just remove 2 deflects. Like, you do have to keep this in mind, so they can be very annoying. So something that happens a lot in wars is a lot of people will just do things to clear deflects or clear a boost. They'll send in a sacrifice character or anything like that. How efficient and how good of an idea do you think it is to just use an energy to just only clear a boost?
Well, I guess it depends on what your alliance has in their arsenal, so to speak. If you're coming up against a team and your best person or the best team that you've got ready to attack that team potentially goes sideways, because then sometimes, yeah, go in, you send in a weak team of essentially you just need 1 minion essentially to do it. Go in, remove the boost, and then the next person can then go in and use their team and have a better success rate. So it will come down to what the team is that you're looking at, what counters you have for it, and if you find that you're a bit iffy in the sense that it could go sideways because of the boost, then the safe thing to do is to burn an energy and remove those boosts, because you want the best chance for the actual team that you're sending in, essentially.
Right. The best situation if you have to burn a boost, I've always found, is take a look at what the team is, and then while you're there, you might as well use up the most problematic abilities that they have. Like, for instance, something that we've done for a while as an alliance, if you happen to see an Ultron on defense and you need to get rid of that boost for some reason or another, sending out a couple of characters just so that they can survive until Ultron summons, and then just pausing the fight until it times out, has always been a very effective strategy for us, as it not only gets rid of the deflect, but then it gets rid of that other ability. And I'm seeing that you have disappeared here, but I'll just finish this sentence and I'll get them back. This allows basically the next person to go in a very easy situation. And we'll be back once I see what happened to Thorn. All right, so we got him back. I told him what I just said. What are your thoughts on the using a boost clear as a chance to also eat some abilities? What is your thought on that?
No, so I definitely agree there. That would be the most efficient way. Now, obviously, I think Paolo used the example with Ultron. Essentially, if you can get rid of his special, so that I've been disconnected by this.
No, you're here. I hear you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. On my end, it says I've been connected. Okay. Sorry. So if you can remove his special, for instance, and that's a big part of his kit with his Ultron bots. I think it's 7 turns until he can get that back. Because he does gain energy from using his ultimate, and that's based on how many buffs he has on himself. Now, those bots are generally given to him from his bots. So if he's got no bots, then when he uses his ultimate, he's not going to get that much energy back, which means he's going to take a while to resummon, and by that time you can negate him and take care of him pretty easily as well. So yeah, I guess it does come like everything, as I've been mentioning, it comes up against who you have in your attack repertoire, what you're facing. Now, for Ultron teams, we're going a bit off course, but I do generally like to use Power Armor. And now Power Armor is a team where you probably prefer to keep the boosts, for instance, because Falcon Special gives them extra turn meter based on
Yes.
how many buffs the enemy has. Now, those boosts count as those buffs. So,
Right.
if you're going to use Power Armor, for instance, I would generally not worry about removing the boosts and go in with Power Armor, get that additional turn meter, and take care of Ultron that way. So I guess it comes down, like I said, it comes down to what you've got to use, and if you find that you will need to remove those Ultron summons, for instance, then yeah, send in with a sack team and make sure they last enough to get his summons out of the way. And even with other teams such as, say for instance, as Guardians off the top of my head, generally we will send an attack team and make sure that Hela's ultimate is used up. So that's generally, I think you only need to send in one person, because it'll be Loki's turn first. He will do his mind control. But if you've only got one person, it doesn't really do anything, and then next move. So I guess it varies from team to team how many characters you need to send in, how strong they need to be. But yeah, it's based on what abilities you need out of the way for the attack team that you're going to send in after that.
Right. Right. That's kind of what I was going for. Again, Ultron is just a specific example of something that's more general. Because again, yeah, you can use power armor and you don't want to do that. You can use supernatural and you don't need to do that, as long as there's not a Drax. But that's it. You can use a lot of different things where you do need to, you don't need to. So just keep in my eye if what you're needing gone, if to help you out. Because if you're going to take a boost, you might as well try and make it even easier. But yeah, it does completely depend on what you have available. And this is a bit of a